Hello again, everybody. I'm Scott Casper. What do you say? It's time to take a look at the news from USA Wrestling, the national governing body of our sport. We start the week's program in State College, Pennsylvania. The Bryce Jordan Center was where the 5th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions welcomed the number 1-ranked Hawkeyes of the University of Iowa. The event was telecast live on the Big Ten Network and drew 15,967 fans. That's the second largest dual meet crowd in NCAA history. Thomas Gilman of the Hawks got them off to a fast start, racking up 2 minutes of riding time for a 6-5 decision at 125. The Lions rebounded at 33. That's where Jimmy Guttelbaum picked up a win over Corey Clark to tie the duel at 3.
I wasn't really thinking at the time, but I mean, I've been hit on. Coach Cody hit that on me a lot throughout practice. So I mean, it's kind of stuff that he does to me. So I kind of had like a feel for it, I guess.
Did you hear the crowd at all and feel the environment there in the third?
Yeah, I definitely could feel that. It was pretty awesome.
Iowa responded by winning 3 straight, starting at 141. That's where Josh Jeva went to work. He scored 3 takedowns and added a minute 37 of riding time and a 9-4 win over Cade Moss. We go to 49. Brandon Sorensen built a 5-3 lead in the first and took a 6-4 decision over Zach Bites, another win in the column for the Hawkeyes. We go to 157. Michael Kelly, he scored 3 reversals to defeat Luke Fry 7-4. Out of it, the Lions came roaring back after the intermission, as you might guess. They started at 65. Redshirt freshman Garrett Hammond broke a 2-2 tie with a low single, a lift, and a takedown with just 6 seconds on the clock for a thrilling 4-2 victory over Iowa's Nick Moore.
It was loud and exciting, and I was happy. I've been close against some of these top guys, and just focusing on winning and not being happy because no one cares if you lose close. You want to go out there and win. And that's what I was focusing on, just whatever it takes to win this match and just score this next point. Keep wrestling hard the whole 7 minutes.
In a battle of All-Americans at 174, it was Matt Brown who kept the momentum going against Mike Evans. He used a second-period escape and a third-period rideout for a 2-0 win that cut the Iowa lead to 3.
There's positives and negatives to take away, but yeah, it's disappointing. We didn't want to lose by just a little bit. That's a lot of the atmosphere and how fun it is to see your teammates go out and do well. I mean, I was super happy for Morgan, just how he was able to go wrestle and dictate the pace of that match. I think the game plan is just trying to do what I can do, focus on what I'm best at.
Sammy Brooks claimed the 5th Hawkeye victory of the day at 84. He had a solid 7-1 win over Matt McCutcheon, but Penn State never quit. At 197, Nittany Lion All-American Morgan McIntosh secured a 2-point near fall and a 7-1 victory over Iowa tough guy Nathan Burak.
In the future, when I'm that close, I can think back on this and be like, man, I want to get that extra point and give the team a chance. But it was a fun match. Nice to go out there against a tough kid like Burak, and it was a fun match. Huge environment with all those fans out there. It was a lot of fun.
So it all came down to the heavyweights. Iowa's Bobby Telford scored on a stalling call, an escape, and added nearly 2 minutes of riding time in his defeat of Jimmy Lawson. The score 3-0. That gave the Hawkeyes an 18-12 victory on the road. Telford talked to us after his match.
I was a little passive, I think. Can really, turn that guy on top, especially with that first period opportunity where the takedown when I'm behind him. I knew he was going to roll. I went to him, had him by the foot, kicked out. So lesson learned there, just pick him up, spike him on his hip, no rolls, nothing like that.
Here's Iowa head coach Tom Brands.
When you're a championship team, you make progress and you keep making progress, but you don't regress, or you can feel when somebody has one eye on the clock and trying to hoodwink you a little bit. And we can do a better job of that and being aware and those types of things. I mean, that's a lot of points on the board.
Penn State head coach Cale Sanderson weighed in.
Although we only won 1 in that first half, every match was exciting. I think that was a great match. Great match to be on live on the Big Ten Network. Probably the most exciting atmosphere that's been on TV outside of the NCAA finals, I would guess. So that's good stuff.
Well, on Wednesday, February 4th, USA Wrestling celebrated 2 major sporting events. National Girls and Women in Sports Day, along with the Super 8 Women's Wrestling campaign that was launched by the UWW, the International Wrestling Federation. In San Fernando, California, in cooperation with Beat the Streets LA, world medalist Helen Maroulis and Elena Perescova joined up with two-time junior world champ Victoria Anthony and held a free clinic with more than 250 in attendance. Olympian Kelsey Campbell and two-time world team member Whitney Condor held a clinic and motivational session in Hood River, Oregon, with more than 70 athletes on the mat, both boys and girls. In New York City, Beat the Streets New York welcomed University world champ Catherine Fulp-Allen to meet with more than 30 girls, talking about the importance of nutrition and wrestling technique. We talked with Kelsey Campbell and Catherine Fulp-Allen about the experience.
Do you guys think this is something maybe we should try to make a regular part of what we do with USA Wrestling?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
I've already gotten some calls and emails about doing more stuff. And you just never know if what you say in that clinic, if that's going to be what clicks for that future champion.
It inspires us too. Like, I was really inspired. Like, that's right, this is why I'm doing this. Like, it impacts all the way down.
Certainly we want to take a lot of pride in not only our athletes, but the whole women's program top to bottom. So thanks for helping out and sharing their stories.
Yeah,
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be back. There's more. It's USA Wrestling Weekly.
ASICS has been there. They've been the lifeblood of the sport. It's been a long time, and they've been at the top of the game every year, forever. And I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, maybe that's where I've gotten my inspiration, because you know, I always want to be in the top of my game in wrestling, and I think that's where ASICS is and wants to be as well.
Hi, I'm Wayne Boyd, Director of Operations and Development for Titan Mercury Wrestling Club. The club was founded to help wrestling worldwide, especially at our senior level, of course at the collegiate level and the high school level. But the most important level for Titan Mercury Wrestling Club is the kids level. And these are some of the guys today that will be tomorrow's Olympic champions. Let's hear it, guys.
Titan Mercury!
That's Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, San Marino, California.
Well, for the third straight year, the Pikes Peak Wrestling League held a tournament in Colorado Springs, helping to raise money for the resident athlete program at the OTC. More than 500 youth wrestlers came out for the Mayhem in the Mountains event at the Wausau Education Center, and a large group of OTC resident athletes worked as referees, scorers, timekeepers, and also signed autographs. Assistant National Freestyle Coach Brandon Slay was a 2000 Olympic gold medalist. He met with the young athletes at the event.
Our resident athletes have been great to come out and run the tables, ref these wrestlers, but also just, give them a hug and encouragement, shake their hand, and just to give them a vision of what it's like to be potential future state champion, national champion, Olympic champion. So I think it's just a win-win-win for our program and our residents.
Two-time Greco-Roman world team member Robbie Smith had a great time helping out the young athletes.
When I first started, I was 5, starting to go to tournaments.
And there are 5-year-olds here, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's awesome too. It's pretty cool to come back and see it and where we started. And I was watching the little 5 and 6-year-olds over there and going after it and just running at each other, and it's pretty fun.
Freestyle star Micah Burak grew up in the Colorado Springs area and talked about the event.
Even like ref and say it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but at least it matters. These kids and the parents are here and they want to win, so I'm reffing, so I try to do the best job I can, because I remember when I was wrestling at this age, I wanted to win, my parents wanted me to win, so just trying to make good calls and stuff, but it's tough sometimes, but it's good.
Kaylor Williams, two-time Greco-Roman world team member, appreciated the opportunity to work with the local wrestling community.
It's awesome to get the support from the kids, but I think it's also important that we kind of look up to these kids and give them a high five for being brave. It's a Saturday. I'm sure they'd love to be eating ice cream and playing video games, but instead they're here competing in a wrestling tournament. So I think the high five goes to these kids rather than to us,
Freestyle athlete Tanner Hall worked as a referee and had a good time with the young grapplers.
Wrestling's all about giving back to the sport, and it's all about helping those, because somewhere along the line somebody helped you to get where you are. And so I remember as a little kid seeing the older kids officiate, giving back. I've always liked giving back to the community, and so it's fun to come back here and officiate and give back to the kids and watch them grow.
Well, the beginning of the college wrestling postseason starts this weekend with the WCWA Women's College Nationals set for Missouri Baptist University in St. Louis. Defending champ King College has been ranked #1 all year and has won the NWCA National Duels titles in January, defeating Oklahoma City 24-17. King is led by returning WCWA National champs Haley Aguillo at 116, Sarah Hildebrand at 123, and Julia Salata at 155. Oklahoma City, which placed just 2 points behind King last year, enters as a solid #2, led by three-time WCWA National champ Emily Webster at 101. She's looking to become the third four-time WCWA champ in history. Other team leaders include returning WCWA runner-up Kayla Aguio at 143, along with top-ranked Cody Fow at 109. Talk about dangerous. Campbellsville comes in ranked #3, led by top freshman Kayla Miracle at 130. She's also a junior and cadet world medalist. Also holding a #1 rank for Campbellsville is sophomore 191-pounder Tiara Scott. Oklahoma City head coach Archie Randall talk about the Women's College Nationals.
The team is practicing great right now. We're trying to come off a huge number of injuries. Their attitude is great. They feel good about themselves, and they feel they can win. That's the most important thing. They feel they can win. It really matters on how they end up in the bracket, who their competition is how far they can go.
Well, several major highlight events took place in the college scene over the last week. It was senior night. Fourth-ranked Ohio State played host to the #3-ranked Minnesota in front of more than 5,600 fans at Jerome Schottenstein Center. At 141, competing in his final home duel, three-time NCAA champ Logan Stieber edged out Nick Dardane's 10-9. But it was three Buckeye freshmen who ultimately made the difference for the home team. At 125, it was Nathan Tomasello who rolled to a 19-5 major over Ethan Lizak, and Bo Jordan won his 14th straight at 165 when he pinned Minnesota's Nick Wanzek. With the dual meet hanging in the balance, true freshman Kyle Snyder scored a clutch 3-1 win over All-American Scotty Schiller and was later named the Matt.com Wrestler of the Week. The final score, Ohio State 22, Minnesota 13. Next, we head to Kings Point, New York for the All-Academy Championships hosted by the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. Behind a total team effort, the Air Force Academy won the tournament, defeating both Army and Navy in the 8-team field. The Falcons were led by 125-pound champ Josh Martinez. Head coach Sam Barber talked about the team's performance.
It's starting to turn into this thing that you kind of question if we're ever really going to be able to pull it off. So the fact that we're able to kind of get over that hurdle, check that off the list. I think it's, hopefully what it turns into is a stepper stone to bigger things, and, especially the point of the season we're at right now, getting ready for our conference tournament in the NCAAs.
Well, the Division I national duels take place this weekend, or at least begin, in 8 different regions. Hosting the dual meets, Cornell, Edinburgh, Lehigh, Chattanooga, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and North Dakota State. Winners of those 8 matches will advance to the National Duels Finals in Iowa City. It'll take place February 21st and 22nd, a big 2 days of action at Carver Hawkeye. Tune in next week for a recap of all the regional action. When we return, we'll talk about the 2015 Sportswomen presentation of 2 very special awards. Stay tuned.
season, Liberty Mutual's Responsible Sports Community Grant Program awards $65,000 to youth sports organizations and school sports programs that demonstrate their commitment to responsibility in youth sports. Your organization could be one of our 20 winners this season. It's easy. Simply visit responsiblesports.com and click on the Community Grant Program. Administrators register their organization with the program, then reach out to rally parents, coaches, and team supporters to log on and review either the Responsible Sports Parenting or Responsible Coaching Guide. Then complete the quiz and showcase your mastery of the concepts. Every successfully passed quiz is worth a point that you can credit to your favorite youth sports organization or school sports program. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors to rally more support. The teams and schools with the most points at the end of the grant period win. It's that simple. Watch the leaderboard throughout the grant season, then rally more of your supporters to increase your totals. Liberty Mutual is committed to celebrating and championing youth sports and to financially supporting organizations that demonstrate their commitment to responsible sports. Join the movement and start earning points toward your community grant.
Well, USA Wrestling would like to congratulate two wrestlers on being named 2015 award winners by Sportswomen of Colorado. Winning the Achievement Award, one of the top honors for the organization, was two-time world champ Adeline Gray. She became the first wrestler ever to receive the Achievement Award. Gray won the world gold medal at 165 in Tashkent, Uzbekistan in September. Along that, a 2014 World Cup title. A native of the Denver area, she now lives and trains in Colorado Springs. This is the fourth time she's been honored after winning wrestling awards in 2009, 12, and 13. This year's wrestling award winner, Maya Nelson of Denver East High School. Nelson was a 2014 Junior Nationals champ, winning that major event for the second straight year. She also finished second in the FIDA Cadet World Team Trials and was a member of the A6 Girls High School All-American First Team in 2014. Congratulations to these young women and way to represent. Well, last week, we took you through the action at the annual Dave Schultz Memorial International. While covering the event, we had an opportunity to talk to a number of the top coaches in attendance. World champ and Olympic medalist Sammy Henson is the new head coach at West Virginia University. He was in the Springs to coach the freestyle wrestlers of Sunkist Kids.
I think it was a good event for us, and with Don Bradley, in the finals, we just needed to find a way to close the deal. But overall, Jordan Oliver doing well. I mean, Sunkist, I thought, we brought 6 guys, and we had 3 in the finals, so that's pretty impressive.
Rob Herman is the head Greco coach of the Northern Michigan U.S. Olympic Training Site and had a number of athletes at the tournament as well.
Well, the wrestling's great. I mean, every weight class is contested. We got a lot of foreigners here and a mixture of our best USA wrestlers. My guys, we still got 4 guys in the medal. We got 1 guy in the finals. We lost some close matches, but they'll learn from it. We're a young group. I mean, our average age is about 20, 21 years old. So any match that you get, it's going to be beneficial down the road.
One of the greats of Hawkeye history, Royce Alger, who was a world silver medalist as an athlete and now is turning into one of the top coaches in the country for Titan Mercury Wrestling.
I always thought we should have like a, they've had Tbilisi in Georgia, there in Russia, and now they've got the Urigan tournament. I always thought that we should have one tournament of that magnitude, and what better than Dave Schultz, So I'm hoping this grows and that we actually get to a point where we can bring in some prize money like they do in their tournaments.
Aaron Siraki was a top Greco-Roman wrestler for over a decade and now coaches both men and women in the Army WCAP program.
It's good. We had a couple setbacks here and there, but for the most part we did well. We had a couple silvers and 1 champ and Michael Hooker. And he's a young guy, his first Schultz, and he just wrestled tough, knocked off a couple guys that were ranked high at that weight at 71 kilos, and just wrestled tough and kept plugging away. And he's still learning, so he's got tons of improvement, tons of room to grow.
Mark Halverson was the 2014 Greco-Roman World Team Coach and works with athletes on the senior and age group levels.
The Russians have some good wrestlers here, Bulgarians, a lot of world medalists, Kazakhstan heavyweights are world medalists, and Kazakhstan's got some good wrestlers. Yeah, it's a good test for our American wrestlers at this point in the year before we head overseas on the winter tours. And with the test tournament. We're getting an idea of the new rules. Everybody's making the adaptation, the officials, the wrestlers. So hopefully they can build off of this and keep improving the sport and the rules.
Stay tuned. We'll be back after this short timeout.
There comes a point in your life that determines who you are, whether you will lead or follow, whether you will fight or give in, whether you will win or lose, and what you will count as your victory.
Oh, we have some rule changes to talk about. United World Wrestling has announced some changes for beach wrestling. The most significant include first wrestler to 3 points will now be declared the winner. 1 point will be awarded for a takedown or push out, and 2 points for takedowns with back exposure. The match will be 1 3-minute period with no overtime. Criteria for match tied during regulation: the first with the highest value action, and second will go to the last athlete to score. The wrestling surface will be increased from 6 meters to 7 meters in diameter. The new rules will be implemented at the 2015 Beach National Championships, hosted by USA Wrestling, take place in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, May 29th and 30th. Get your sandals ready. Here we go. Well, this last week, United World Wrestling released its newest World Athlete Rankings. There were 14 women's freestyle athletes ranked this month, with at least one American in every weight. The top-ranked women include number 1, Adeline Gray at 165, the number 2, Helen Maroulis at 121, and Elena Peroskova came in at number 2 at 138. The U.S. men's freestyle squad had 9 ranked wrestlers, led by number 3, Jordan Burroughs at 163, number 5 ranked Tervel Delagnev at 275, and the 8th ranked Brent Metcalf at 145. The Greco-Roman program had a nice jump as well. 8 Americans in the rankings this month. The highest, Andy Bisick, number 6 at 165, and Spencer Mango clocked in at number 12 at 130. Here's a look at all the Americans who made it in the UWW World Rankings. Well, May 17th, mark it on your calendar. It's the next stop for Tour ACW. It'll take place in Pittsburgh at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, located right by the airport. Registration is open for the professional tournament, which provides $2,500 in prize money for champs and $200 for semifinalists. Competition will be held at 130, 145, 165, and 180 pounds. You can register at touracw.com. More information there as well. And finally, we want to congratulate Utah USA Wrestling for earning $2,500 from the Liberty Mutual Insurance Play Positive program this fall. The wrestling community in Utah rallied by signing the Play Positive Pledge online. USA Wrestling Utah will use their $2,500 grant to support their national teams and help offset travel expenses. Other wrestling groups are encouraged to get involved in the spring season program to qualify for grant money for their own. And finally, the Greco-Roman wrestling program at Northern Michigan's U.S. Olympic Training Center site is seeking UWW junior level wrestlers aged 17 to 20 to join the team for training and competition in Götzis, Austria, February 26th through March 7th. What an opportunity. For more information, contact NMU coach Rob Herman at 906-227-2869, or we'll put the email address you see on your screen there for your convenience as well. All right, fans, it's time for the USA Wrestling Photo of the Week contest. The pictures keep coming in from around the country. They're sent in by families and fans, and they're being considered for our contest page on our USA Wrestler magazine and our USA Wrestling Facebook page. This week's pick was taken by Gail Richard, and it shows 6-year-old Killian Coluccio from Sure Thing Wrestling Club in New Jersey cradling an opponent at the St. Augustine Duels. Have your photograph considered for our contest simply by emailing them to the very hardworking Gary Abbott at gabbott@usawrestling.org. Folks, that'll do it for this week's show. From all of us at USA Wrestling, I'm Scott Casper, and thanks for watching.